Hello, everyone. Well, it's good to be back. It is good to be back. I missed you guys. I know we have a lot to cover. I mean, a lot to cover. Uh, First of all, let me just say that, wow. I mean, wow. What is happening in Spain? It's a wake up call. And you know what's so interesting is that, well, not interesting, what's really messed up is the fact that the European Union is still fighting tooth and nail to hold on to that euro. It is falling apart. And they're doing everything they can. I mean, pumping money to save the euro. And they are trying so hard, and they're keeping such a brave face. But I mean, they want are these elitists, Zionists? Who are these people? The tentacles behind the evil veil of the second government, because every country has two governments, you know, and this is really bad. Germany is now going down spiral. She has done so much to try to bail out Greece and help extend austerity measures that Germany is also in trouble. Oh, but you don't hear much about that in the news. And then there is the situation of the quantitative easing, which is happening here in the United States. Um, and you know what's interesting is that looking at what's happening in Europe, it's a projection of what could happen here in the United States. It actually is already happening, gingerly, marginally. But here's the thing: what alarms me is what's happening in Spain. There's no money. There's no money. I mean, they are saying flat out, Spain got no money. Spain got no collateral to secure monies. And in the last 10, 20 years, under the different Spanish government, where they were living on La La Land and spending money and created such a large economic image to the world that everything was fine in Spain for so many decades, when actually it was just they were 20 years ago where we are now, where we are so overinflated with our debt that we no longer can afford to live like money comes out of trees or out of faucets of water. And water, that's another issue. But we'll talk about that in another show. So, what is now the Spanish government and the European Union trying to do? They want to privatize the medical industry. Could you believe that? And of course, here's the justification. Because there is no money and there's no collateral, we have to get Spain out of debt. So let's privatize healthcare. But this is what they're saying, which in a way is true, because it's a two-point argument. They're saying that they can't afford to pay their doctors, their nurses, and that's a serious problem. Because without doctors and nurses or a medical system, you don't have a society. We will plunge back into the dark ages where diseases like the bubonic plague or cholera or smallpox will reemerge. Medical care is so expensive. Who What average citizen in Spain is going to be able to afford a mammogram, right? Or a CAT scan? Or how about if you break your leg, God forbid, a young kid riding down the bike, a poor kid? All poor kids, well, not all poor kids, but young boys, let's talk about that for a minute, have creative ways of breaking an arm, breaking a leg. Boys will be boys, rich or poor. So what are you saying? That the poor family that has a child that gets hurt, break his arm, they're not going to have the money for the x-ray to look at what part of the arm is broken, and then the surgery, and then the anesthesia for the surgery, the doctors, the nurses, the care, the pre, post, after care, maybe rehabilitation to get that arm working again. Do you know how much money that's going to cost? This is a bad idea. A bad idea. And this is not, and so it's going to kill half of the population in Spain. And this money that's supposed to be coming in as revenue, it's not going to be to even out austerity measures. It's not going to be to bail the country out. Not what? Unless every citizen in Spain is a multimillionaire, then yes. But that's not the case. Spain is one of the poorest countries in the Union. How can they talk about privatizing healthcare? This is serious. Don't think that that's not going to come across into our shores, because that very well may be. Especially the way the Republicans are trying to stop everything from happening. God forbid the next 4 years when the new president takes over in this country, if they're not going to propose that idea. This is bad. I want to know your opinion. Let me know. What do you think? Okay, you can email me at fp2121 at columbia.edu. FP as in Fernando P. Prudhomme 2121 or 2121 at columbia.edu. Right? And let me know your opinion, because this is something that we have to keep an eye on, a watchful eye. Can a country actually run out of money completely? And why aren't the other European powers dropping this Euro pipe dream? Because let's face it, right now it's a pipe dream. They should go back to the old system of each currency being, have an individual currency, and maybe revisit the concept of a European Union further down into the future. This is going to break Europe. And of course, let's not talk about India, Russia, China, the emerging markets, and Latin America. They're looking towards Latin America as the new source of collateral, Brazil in particular. Now, how are they going to do that? Are they going to destroy, reach their tentacles to another part of the world because they've exhausted their resources? This is what we got to look at and pay attention to. So call me or write to me or email me. Let me know, what do you think?